it's bizarre to me that the Kansas City Chiefs are somehow at the center of every national political cross current. And to a certain extent, the Niners are. I mean, it's very Niners Chiefs, where the Chiefs get, a lot of it and the Niners just get like a little bit of it. And I don't understand why it's happening. You've got, I'm just trying to rattle it off the top of my head, the team of Taylor Swift, and she's with Kamala and the Democrats, and maybe there's some Kelsey aspect to that. And that's
Kelsey with was the Pfizer spokesperson.
Yes.
And Rogers went after him. I mean, this is a year ago, but yeah, that was kind of the first one.
And that whole thing. And then there's Patrick Mahomes' wife with liking some post about Trump, and then Patrick Mahomes' mom supporting Trump before the election. And then your kicker is entered in. Yeah. You're your excellent
Harrison.
kicker.
Yeah.
He's with Josh Hawley from your state. And this is all happening all at once. You are, from what I can tell, more Team Blue. What do you think about this whole thing? Like, does it why? And does it impact any aspect of your fandom at all?
I think it would. I think if Mahomes came out as a vocal, hardcore MAGA guy, it would really bum me out. I'm just being honest. Like not if Mahomes came out as like a hardcore Mitt Romney supporter, I wouldn't care. But if he came out as like a hardcore MAGA guy, that would bum me out. I'd still, listen, it's not like I would. It would change who I root for, but I have a personal relationship with Patrick. I consider him a pal. I don't talk politics with him, so that would bum me out, to be honest. Just being totally candid. To answer your question of why, the Butker thing, I think, is almost anomalous. I think that
it's like very organic.
Yes, it just happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this dude. And listen, I did a podcast on this. It kind of sucks. I did it, and if you were listening live, you heard it. But then it was one of those, technical disasters where then it basically, I don't know. I think it's still up somewhere, but regardless, it wasn't shareable via social because of a technical snafu. I had a thing on Harrison, which was, if you look at him through the lens of he's just a Christian fundamentalist, just makes sense. Like, we don't use those terms very often, but we use it for other religions quite a bit, where it's
people mean it pejoratively when they say something like that. Somebody who says fundamentalist would mean that pejoratively. But I think Butker is fairly explicit that I believe in this original interpretation of Catholicism. Right, I'm not an expert on Catholicism, but
me neither.
He's making that argument.
You listen to the whole, and I find the views he espoused abhorrent, truly. But if you listen to the whole thing, he does about 2 minutes about how if after college you get a job that is not in a city where you can go to what he called the TLM, the traditional Latin Mass.
Yes.
And you need to go to a different city. And he was talking to the guys in the room. So he had what I consider wild opinions, but it was across the board. It was like, hey man, this is the literal gospel. This is what I believe. And it's not me. Again, I find it anathema to how I think, productive, healthy, equal society can operate, what he espoused. But I'm familiar with the thought process because you see fundamentalists of almost any religion. Any religion has folks who are like, adherent to the letter of the most stringent letter. And he just gave his thoughts, to a school. So set him aside. The other stuff is, I just think the Chiefs are the most famous people related to football. There's only 3 that are still playing. Here would be my draft order. Tom Brady is number 1. Patrick Mahomes is number 2. Travis Kelce is number 3. Peyton Manning's number 4. Aaron Rodgers 5. Rob Gronkowski 6. I think those are the 6 most famous football players there are. 3 of them are retired. 2 of them are on the Chiefs. And the one who's not on the Chiefs, guess what? He's in the political crosshairs all the time, too. Like, so I just think when you are that famous, there's going to be, you know, stuff that tangentially affects you, because Patrick has never said anything political, but he's associated with politics because of his wife's Instagram like and then the one post and his mom making that video. Travis doesn't really talk politics, but defended his endorsement after Rodgers went after him. And so I just think they're very, 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 very famous in a league that oddly doesn't have that many truly famous people. Like, I know that sounds dumb, but like when I'm talking famous on that scale, like
we're struggling to create fame like we used to in the social media era. And I think this is just part of that. I mean, even Patrick Mahomes is very famous, is not famous like Tom Brady was famous. It's just a different, if you're famous pre-social media, you're household name famous. Steph Curry and LeBron, I don't know if we're ever replicating that again in the NBA just because of timing.
And movie stars, you see it too. All the big, like the Chalamet still does not hold a candle, I don't think, in fame to Tom Cruise. Like I just, I think the most famous movie stars are now all 50 plus, like Clooney, Pitt, Denzel, Hanks, Cruise. They're all, again, maybe I sound super dated, maybe. But I think those guys are still the most famous.
This isn't your old thing. This is there's a lot of research to back this up, and we've talked about this on the podcast. Speaking of Taylor Swift, she's the youngest person of the people who were famous, that kind of famous, and that's one of the reasons why she has particular purchase.
And she also, I'm gonna use a line from Wilds. Wilds has a great ability to occasionally really crystallize something in such a digestible and funny way. And I'm like, as soon as he says it, I'm like, oh, that's exactly right. He was like, Taylor Swift is so famous that her boyfriend's brother's wife is now famous. And I was like, God damn.
That's a great way to think about it.
I was like, that's true. I was like, she's so famous. Forget her boyfriend being famous. Forget her boyfriend's brother being famous. Boyfriend, brother, wife, who had like, a little name recognition, and people knew, if you're a diehard NFL fan, you knew Kylie Kelsey was. But now, like, she's in commercials. Like, and so that's like a level of fame that only, is the only athlete that mirrors that. LeBron. I don't know.
LeBron
like,
and Steph. I think LeBron and Steph.
LeBron and Steph is maybe the only two, and and I don't even know if they get there. She might be on a level. It's like where it's like her, Obama, Trump, Beyonce, the Pope. Like, and the Pope, I just think the name the Pope. I don't even know if people recognize the Pope.
No, I mean, I learned about the TLM from Butker. I'm not exactly an expert on who the Pope is. I do want to not leave culture warville just yet, because it is interesting. Because I understand having a different politics from Mahomes, who you've got a relationship with, and a different outlook, how that could be something that you could dislike. But I wonder, most people in Missouri, most Chiefs fans probably support that guy who you do not like.
Support Trump? Yeah. I mean, most Chiefs fans, yeah. I mean, I do think we do a bad job in the media, just to be fair, of an election 4 years ago. As you put it, the blue team wins by 4 million votes, and we discuss it as gotta make sure we're reaching out to all parties, Big Tent. Election a week ago, the red team wins by 2 million votes, and it's an absolute wipeout, overwhelming mandate. So I think there is sometimes the scale of it. We are truly a 50-50 nation. And so I think that means most very popular things are 50-50-ish, but I recognize the NFL leans more conservative than America. So say the NFL is 55-45, and then Midwestern team, now we're probably 60-40. I don't think it's, 75-25. I don't think it's 80-20, but
I think 75-25. If we're talking about a male skew in the Midwest in a state that's being 20% decided, I don't know if it's 75-25, but I mean, it's an interesting topic to me
but sure, whatever it is.
You are a representative of the Red Kingdom, of however you want to put it.
Yeah, sure.
Chiefs Kingdom, however we want to say. I mean, I'm referencing it. Was it the Tech?
No,
I know.
Song? I only said it because I didn't want people to get confused because I was saying blue team, red team. But go ahead.
Gotcha. Yes. There's an interesting thing about being a member of a community in a way whose outlook is just wildly divergent. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all, but I just wonder how you process it, or if you ever think about it, or if it's just not
I
even
don't
part
ever
of how
think about it.